Well, everybody's been asking for it, so here it is. Finally gonna do a little video about the Hart Parr after the 4th of July parade. 83 years of 6-cylinder power between the tractor on the trailer and the tractor pulling it. (2008) was 75 years for the Hart Parr. Wrong way. Hey, good luck with that, it fit tight. Take it that's the one that got tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
What the hell? So why is the ramp wedged in there? Yeah, need to take it up and beat the end back down. This gets loud. Wait for it. Huh. Actually wasn't too bad. Yeah, that ramp needs adjusted. Anyway, this is a 1937 Oliver Hart Parr 70. First Hart Parrs came out in 1935. And then, okay, which range is he? Look out, Bailey. Get out of the way, goofball. Bailey, look out. You're not looking out. There you go. First Hart Parrs came out in 35. And then they changed in the last. They built them 35, 36, 37. 35s had 8-inch flat back headlights on them. And they only built them for 4 months in 1935, I think. And then in 36, they went to the 7-inch bullet lights like this. And then they stayed like that for 37, and then like the last 2 or 3 months of 1937, they went to the styled 70s, or the more technical term, the streamlined 70s, which are what look like the 60s. Now, the bad thing about the 70s and the 60s is they put the serial number tag on the engine block. So if the engine was ever replaced, which was very common back then, the serial number changed with the motor unless whoever did the engine swap knew enough to knock the serial tag off and put the old serial tag on the new engine block. So if you ever get a 70 that's a style 2, but the serial number says that it's a 37 or older, unless you get one of the very, very hard to find 37 style 2s, because Dad actually wants to find the 37 streamline to go with this one so you can park them right side by side. But if you have a streamline 70 that's got a 37 or older serial number, the engine's been changed in it at some point. Likewise, if you have a Hart Parr that's got a serial number in it that's 38 or newer, the engine's been changed in it. And the other thing is, the difference between the style, or the Hart Parrs and the style 2s is that the Hart Parrs have a motor in them. It's a 6-cylinder Continental. First 6-cylinder Oliver ever put in a farm tractor, and the first 6-cylinder ever he put in a row crop farm tractor. The Hart Parrs have a 5 timing gear motor in them. The Style 2, or the Streamlines, which look like that, have a 3 timing gear motor in them. And that had all to do with the magneto drive and the accessory drive and all that crap, but basically they eliminated a couple timing gears, tightened the timing train up, and a lot better motor. And this one, you could actually hear the timing gears in this old girl are pretty whooped. We actually have the magneto, I can't remember how far we had to advance the thing to actually get it. The magneto is really advanced to actually get it to fire when it's supposed to, because the timing gears in this thing are so whooped. But I also kind of wanted to do this for Bandit, because he said back when he was a kid they had a Hart Parr 70 and a 60. So I told him I would get them both out and show them together. So there they are. And the 70 is actually one that I can't really give you a very good story on, because we don't really know its story. Basically, one of the guys my dad used to work with collected antique tractors. He was actually a big John Deere guy, but he also had this and a 1929 Farmall regular, I think is what it was. Those were the only two he had that weren't Deere. But when he bought this tractor, it was actually on cutoff, so it had rubber on it. And he put it back on steel wheels. But at that point, it only had single tip toes on it, and the wheels were painted red, which was wrong because up until, I can't remember if it was 40 or 41. Or no. I'd have to go back and look to see which year. It was in the early 40s when Oliver started putting red wheels on the tractors. Up until that point, they were all green. And the wheels were painted red when we got it, but it was on the single tip toes, so just picture this lug right here, and this adder band and these lugs weren't there. And then the front wheels were painted red. But when Dad bought it, we tore it down. Well, I say tore it down. We pulled the wheels off, a couple other odds and ends. Oh, the other thing it had the wrong seat on it. Well, I'll get to that in a second. So we took the wheels off, got them blasted, painted. I think we repacked the bearings in the front hubs, and then we went over to Heine's, which is where Jake's been, and Old Iron Disneyland. That'll put it in terms for you guys. And found a set of double tip toes for it because Dad likes the way they look, which they look pretty freaking awesome. Basically, it's the equivalent of putting duals on a steel wheel tractor. And got all the wheels painted, and the only problem was the adder rings, these pieces right here, that we got with the wheels were junk. So Dad took them over to a metal shop that he does work with, and they got the dimensions, and these rings are actually laser cut out of brand new steel with all the holes laser cut in them. So it's kind of a cool contrast between old and new technology. This band, you can see the weld mark right here. Well, I can, you might not be able to. There's a weld mark right here. The original band was rolled in a ring, welded, and then all the holes were punched. The new ring was lasered out of a solid piece of metal, and all the holes were lasered in position. But anyway, it had a Easy Ride seat on it too, which was a very common aftermarket add-on to these, but we wanted to make it original. And basically, it had a bracket right here. Oops, might be loading up a little bit. It had a bracket that went right here, and then it had the long pipe frame with the big steel pan seat and the big coil spring and a shock absorber and all that crap on it. So to make it original, at the same time we got the rims, we found the original canvas sling seat frame for it. And this is a reproduction seat copied from an original that a guy found in a dealer auction and had them reproduced. But part of the reasoning behind this seat spring, the reason Oliver did it that way, was back when this tractor first came out, there wasn't rubber spring cushion seats, and so this was the easiest way to give you kind of a springy ride with a little bit of a cushion. Which actually, it's not that the seat is actually fairly comfortable for what it is. But the other reason they built it that way was that Oliver knew that the seat slings that the seat canvases were going to wear out. So they on purpose made this the exact same width and size as a burlap bag, which they figured back in the day was going to be a fairly common garbage item on a farm. So if your seat ever broke, you went to the barn, got a burlap bag, slipped it over that, ran that one till it broke, went and got another one. So basically, you had an endless supply of seats. And then the other final thing we did to it was we added the lights on it, because if I remember correctly, when we got this, it didn't have any lights on it at all. And the hard thing about the Hart Parrs is they were the only ones that had the brackets, or they had the lights mounted up here on the grill. And they had a special bracket that looked exactly like these. Well, here. It looked exactly like this bracket, except it wasn't curved. And if I remember correctly, the part number on it was an A1261. And the fender bracket was the B1261, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, though. I'd have to go back and look. But the flat brackets, since they were only used for tractors for all intents and purposes, 2 years, and since electric lights weren't not a standard option on these, they were a factory option, but you had to order them that way. And since these were depression tractors, there were very few of them ordered with electric lights. Most of them had electric start, but you don't find too many with electric lights on them. So the factory correct grill brackets are hard to find, and Dad looked for the longest time and basically gave up. And what he did was he found a set of fender brackets for them, and he took them and put them in the vise and heated the dog ears up and clamped them shut so that they flatten out and fit the grill right, and then hit them with a belt sander and to make them where they fit up against the grill like they should. And if you pay attention to these things, it shows. A lot of them you see that have the lights mounted up on the grill. If you look at them close enough, you'll see that somebody just stuck fender brackets on there and they didn't take the time to flatten them out. And you can see the arc in them, and they don't sandwich all the way up against the grill like they should. But that's basically about the only story I can give you on this, because we don't really know a whole lot of history on it. It's got the reproduction plowshare radiator cap for it. The original one was one-piece cast, and this is a reproduction one copied from an original, but the plowshares are cast out of brass, and this is just a regular new reproduction radiator cap with a bolt through it, because this is a non-pressurized cooling system, and that's just bolted to the cap. But we have down in our display case an original one-piece, never been on a tractor plowshare radiator cap for this, but we don't want to put it on because A, it's never been on a tractor, and 2, those things tend to come up missing when you put them on at shows. Because when we take this thing to a show and we're going to walk away from it for a while, Dad actually we put that radiator cap on it, and he'll carry that one around with him just so it won't get stolen, because stupider things are known to happen. But I just figured, since we had it out of the barn and I've only been asked about 100 times to do a video on the Hart Parr, I'd get it out and show you guys. And I wanted to get it out anyway and get it parked next to the 60 so Bandit could see them together. The only thing he never mentioned to me was whether the one they had was on steel or rubber. But I guess that's a little bit of Hart Parr for you. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you guys, and I think it could happen. If I can make it to 400 subscribers, or not 400, if I can make it to 4,000 subscribers by the time harvest is done, which if I get from 3 to 4,000 as fast as I got from 2 to 3,000, won't be that hard, But if I get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of harvest when I'm in the tillage, may just have to get this out in the 66 and the 77 and do a little bit of old school moldboard plowing with some trip plows. But we'll just have to see what happens, and that's also if I have time, which I gotta believe I would, because we should be off my shift work at the plant by then. At least I'd hope. Oh, and another little piece of history. This was the Hart Parr 70 was the first Oliver to use a twin H gear pattern. Which this one doesn't show it, but there's actually a 5th gear in this transmission. But since it came out of the factory on steel, it's not marked in the transmission cover. But the gear's in there. All you got to do is remove the lockout from it. And there she is, wide open. That's all she's got. She smokes a little bit, but that's mostly because the thing sits so much. I honestly can't remember the last time we had it. I think Dad had it out of the barn last year just to run it around and wash the dust off, but it hasn't. I don't think we pulled a plow with it since we put the double tiptoes on there. We plowed with it a couple times before that, but I'm pretty sure we put the double tiptoes on it just in time to make it out to the 75th anniversary of 6-cylinder power in Mount Pleasant, Iowa in 2008. And I don't think we've had the plow on it since, actually. It's kind of a bummer. So, like I say, if we can make it to 4,000 subscribers, may just have to get out and do some plowing with the old girls this fall. Won't do a whole lot, probably just this little 4-acre field down in front of Grandma and Grandpa's, but we'll have to do something with them. So, anyway, I guess that does it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.